Well, hey everybody, Tom Miller here from Leaders Building Leaders, and really excited to spend just a couple minutes with you on this very, very special day, September 11th. And most of you probably remember where you were on this day, and so I'm just going to spend I got a couple of points and a couple of thoughts that I want to really, really talk about. But maybe most importantly is just asking the question, how do you want to be remembered, right? How is it that you want to be remembered? And so as we honor those who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001, we have to ask ourselves, what is it that I want to be remembered by? And so I remember where I was when that happened. I was in my second year at teaching, and a teacher had come to my classroom, said, "Hey, I think something happened in New York." And I happened to be in a class where I was able to put the TV on. And I mean, what I watched, what I observed was just so overwhelming to even try to fathom what that meant for the people who lost their lives that day. Whether they went to the World Trade Center to eat breakfast maybe, or for a meeting, or maybe they were there for a job, right? A job interview, or that's where they were working every day. I mean, whatever it was, I mean, that was it. And it got me really, really thinking about, legacy, and how is it that you want to be remembered? And so, I've been really fortunate to not have to deal with a lot of death in my life. I mean, the saddest day was when my mom passed away. But the closest that I've ever really been to where it really shook me to the core was I was a teacher at a charter school, and a student came running over, to me and said, there's something wrong with my teacher. She's not talking to us. And so I grabbed a colleague, and we ran into the classroom to see what was going on. And there she was. She was sitting in a rocking chair, and you could tell she was non-responsive. I lifted up her hand to try to check for any vital signs, and there was nothing there. So I said, clear the classroom, and so we brought her on the floor, and I started to perform CPR on her. And I had never done CPR on a human, right? It's only had been on the dolls. I can't remember the doll's name off the top of my head. If you remember what the doll's name, put it in the chat box. But so I was, she did not survive. She died, and a little bit later, after they had taken her in the ambulance away, my boss came over to me, and he had his cell phone, and he was talking to someone, and he said, goodbye, and I'm really sorry. And he said that was the husband. And he said the only thing that he said was, I think I told her I loved her. I'm pretty sure I told her I loved her. And he said, he looked at me and he said, that's a moment. Like, you need to remember that. And so I say that because we never know when it's our last day. We never know when it's our last day. We don't, nobody going up to the World Trade Center knew that was their last day. That woman who came to work that day didn't know it was her last day. The last time that I spoke to my mother in 2000, I didn't know it was the last time I would talk to her. Right? What the one thing that we have in common here is that we all have the rest of our lives ahead of us. No matter when that last day is, one solid truth is we're all going at some point, we're all going to die. But knowing that gives us the opportunity to start living out our legacy right now. Right? Being the person that you want to be remembered now. There's no reason to wait, right? There's a lot of people who wait. Someday I'll do that, or someday I'll take that chance, or someday I'll start that business, or someday I'll start working to lose weight, or whatever it is that someday is. Well, let me just remind you Someday is not on the calendar. I've never seen someday. Somebody show me a calendar that says someday. Give me a like or an amen in the chat box if you hear me. Like someday is not, it's not a day on the calendar. So every day that you wait for someday is a day that you miss to be that somebody that you want to be remembered by. I mean, let's be honest. They say that the number one reason for people to attend your funeral is the weather. It's the number one decider, the weather. Is that what you want to leave your legacy up to, the weather? Are you kidding me? So you need to be every single day being very clear on how you want to be remembered and making sure that you are being that person every day. Don't become somebody, be somebody. Be it right now. You're a human being, not a human doing. You're a human being. So be that person that you want to be. Remember, you don't get to choose what that last day is. But at any point, right now, you could just fold the hand of cards that you have, and you could start over. You could just get a fresh deck of cards and say, this is how I want to be remembered with this deck of cards. I could do it with these. Right? So that's my call to action for you. Put it down there in the comment box or share it out. Who is it that you want? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered by? Who's that person that you want to be? And I know for me, it's every day I wake up to be the difference maker in the leadership development of individuals and organizations. That's why I wake up. That's why I read so much leadership. That's why I listen to leadership. That's why I study leadership. Every day I ask questions. Every day I'm learning. Every day I work to add value. That's what I do. That's what I be. I'm being that person that I want to be remembered by. So what is it that you want to be? So if you want to learn more, if you want to help, you need help, finding out what that be is, reach out. I'd be happy to have a one-on-one session with you to help you get real clarity on who is it that you aim to be so you could start being that person tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.